What's going on, people? Welcome back to the live match reaction. Another defeat for Palace. Chelsea 1, Palace 0 at Stamford Bridge. Joined by Patrick. We'll be opening up the lines as always. You guys can join and have your say on the game as well. If you do enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And yeah, we'll be opening up the lines. You know what? Let's open up the lines now. So I'm going to pin the comment where you can join now. It should be posted in a live section, but if you're watching a replay, leave down your comments in the comment section down below. I'll be reading them out. Patrick, another defeat for Palace, this time away from home against a side that's been struggling massively. Let's not act like they haven't before this game. Where did it go wrong today?
Well, the first thing is struggling has nothing to do with it today. They have multitude of players that are much better than ours. So it starts with that. The quality of their players are better than ours. So where did it go wrong today? I mean, I predicted a 0-0, a 1-0 loss is what I really thought was going to happen. But the truth is, the issue I have, honestly, is not the starting lineup because we all knew Ayew was going to start and Schlupp was going to start. So it's not that.
But is that right thing, though, Patrick? Is that right thing? We all knew, let's accept it.
Okay, yeah, because discussing the same thing every week is boring. So let me just get my other point. My point is that it's not the starters, it's how you play them. As you said before went on air, playing Zaha up front to me doesn't make a lot of sense. But what's worse than that is having Olise as a 10, because he's not good as a 10, and Eze weighted out on the left, which is not good out wide. So if you can switch those players and move them around, which he did do later on, we played better on, is to play Olise out wide on the right, which is much better, much more effective. Play Eze as a 10, which is much better. And then you can interchange Ayew and Zaha, which I don't have a problem with. Start with a striker. Okay, but let's be honest. What exactly did Mateta and Edouard do when he got on the pitch? Would they be better if they started the game? Who knows? But my point is that we need to just put the players in better positions. I understand what he was trying to do. When you have Eze, Ayew, Olise, and Zaha, you can kind of mix them all up. All four of them can kind of play the different positions. They really can. But the start is just poor. That aside, the effort was better. But again, Chelsea have much better players than we have. They just do. I mean, they have better players. So to get upset about the result, I was during the game, I'm not now. It's more that we don't have enough quality. So we're going to go back to the same thing we always say. You know, we got to sign players. We need a midfielder. I get all that. But to me, it's more of, can we just start the game a little better? But again, Chelsea's a better team than we are. Let's be honest, man. Just bought a player for 100 million.
I know, but let's not. But I have to. But Patrick, if you look at Chelsea over the last 10 games, I think they lost 7.
They've lost. They've won one, but lost 9.
Exactly. They won. Exactly. Right. So let's not take that away. I know Chelsea on paper have got a good team, but it's not about on paper. Them players haven't been performing, and that's why they've been struggling. But for me, I've backed Vieira so many times, but today I have to go back to the starting lineup. I'm sorry, I have to go to the starting lineup. Midfield, Will Hughes played against Southampton. Did Will Hughes have a bad game against Southampton? No. So why on earth, for a midfielder, we're struggling in that position? We replaced that player that's been stinking up that position for one game. His replacement was actually half decent. And then we go back to the same player that's been stinking up that position. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me. That goes back down to the manager. I get the investment 100%. We should invest in stuff. But it didn't make any sense. 2 of the 3 players that came on after we conceded that goal shouldn't be starting the game. Edouard, a striker that's been half decent this season, has been scoring goals. He scored against Southampton. What do? We go and put Wilf back up front when we know he hasn't been working. He isn't just this game. Majority of the games that Wilf has played up front, we haven't had a shot on target because he doesn't get a service. So for me, it's just bigger than, oh, Chelsea have great players. You know, we should have done. Look, from the start, it is pathetic. He needs to stop trusting some of these players way too much. He has too much faith in them.
Can I ask you a question now?
I don't understand what Schlupp does in midfield, though. I don't understand.
I get that. But Hughes isn't 10 times better. He's not even much better. Let me finish. Only thing Hughes did today, what was good, was foul Gallagher. What else did he do that was so outstanding? He fouled Gallagher, great. So I agree. My point is, I need a better option. To me, Hughes is going to give me similar. It's not like he's 10 times better, because if he was, I'm telling you, he would start. Don't tell me he's that much better. He would start.
But he wouldn't though, based on... So you're telling me Tompkins is much better than Chris Richards as centre-back? Another substitution that happened. It doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense to me. Tompkins, in his last game, had an absolute disaster class. What do we do as soon as there's an injury? Put him back in. Now, I get that some of the players that we have are not good enough. I totally understand that. But how much worse can Chris Richards be than James Tompkins to put him ahead of Joachim Andersen when he's out injured?
It's not about being worse. It's about the player is not that much better. So I'll pick the player with more experience. I'm going to pick Tompkins. He's more experienced. That's a fact. I want Richards to play. I told you that a million times.
You do. So why are you?
I'm picking him because he's more experienced. That's the only reason he's picking him. Has to be.
What does experience do? Because remember, let's talk about the goal that we conceded. Let's start there. He's experienced, Tompkins. You said this point. I didn't look at the goal back yet, but his experience surely should have done better. Experience is overrated, man. Get that experience thing out the window. We have experienced players in the squad that stink up the place. Experience doesn't mean anything if you don't have talent. For me, you have to have talent in there. Chris Richards should be a better centre half than James Tompkins, and if he isn't, then at least let him play. He's a youngster. He's come from Bayern Munich. And we're still starting James Tompkins that doesn't even fit our profile. What's his experience thing about? Even like Jordan Ayew, I expected it, but he makes sacrifices to our striker to play Jordan Ayew. I don't understand his pointless sacrifices. Like some of the selections and some of the substitutions, it doesn't make any sense. He needs to improve. And this is me being frustrated. I'm not saying Vieira out after this game, but like there has to be some questions asked about the team selection and the rotations as well. Because it isn't good enough for me. It isn't. I don't understand what. There's so many things I've listed there. Will starting up front. Ayew starting. Schlupp starting. The substitutions. I had no faith after we conceded a goal. Because it's the same old. We don't like it's the same old thing. Oh, we conceded a goal. Let's change about. It's too late. It's too late. These players should have been started.
You had no faith. Yet Kepa made 3 brilliant saves today. Any of them could have gone in. The save from Elise and 2 saves from the Corey could have gone in.
Yeah, 2 saves. Exactly,
so 2 saves. You have to say that. You had no faith. We had 3 great chances to score goals, and Kepa played great. So
when we conceded the goal, you had faith that we was going to score another goal?
Well, again, after they scored the goal, when Decoy had that great shot that he made a great save on. So faith.
Yeah, but look at that. That's not no. But look at what they're creating in terms of opportunities and they're missing. Look what we're doing. Our save, that save they're talking about, was an absolutely brilliant shot from Decore from outside the box. It's nothing about patterns of play or getting into good positions. We didn't even get into good positions. And there was a moment in the first half, I think it was, or second half. Mitchell puts the ball in the box. We don't have a striker there. What do you expect? We don't have a striker there. It's just the basics. Like,
so you're saying, you're saying we would have won the game or got a point if we started a striker today. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying at least start the striker and stop playing your best player out of position. Wilf is not a forward. It's not this game. Wilf is not a forward in general.
Who's the leading goal scorer on our team? Who's the leading goal scorer on our team?
It doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So, Patrick, you really telling me Wilf should start?
I just asked you a question, though. You say he's not a goal. You say he's not a striker, but he's a leading goal scorer. How does that work?
Because he's a good finisher. How can he score? How do you expect him to score goals if he's getting no service?
Hey, D, you watch him play football. So the best finisher shouldn't play as a striker?
No, because you know that's not the case. Come on, Patrick. Just because
I'm asking you a question. You just said to me he's our best finisher.
Okay, so where did he get all the goals from? For the majority of them goals, is it being from him starting up front? No, he hasn't. He's played out wide. Whenever he started up front, Patrick, we've struggled as a team. Because he can't get into the game. And it's not Will's fault.
We struggle because the team is poor, not because of Will playing at striker. That's not the point of today's game. That's not the reason we lost the game. That wasn't the reason we lost the game today because of that. It was because of poor defense on a corner kick. It has nothing to do with the fact that Will's playing a striker where we lost the game. It's not like Will, like last week, you missed a great chance. Did Will miss a great chance today? No. Because that's different.
But you don't understand my point, though. You don't understand my point. My point is, your best player... You should have him in the best position. Wilf up front, we don't get the ball enough to him in dangerous. He doesn't have any decent touches. He's overrun. He's not a striker. It's not this game, Patrick. Nottingham Forest. Then the game after that.
But he's our best finisher. But he's not.
Best finisher, and he gets them goals playing out wide, cutting inside. Not from playing up front. When he plays up front, you take him out of the game. Look, these are the basics. This has happened. The reason why I'm saying this is not because of just this game, because I've seen Will play up front this season so many occasions now, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Whether it's Nottingham Forest, whether it's Chelsea, whether it's a quality side, we've faced different opponents, different quality defenders. It just doesn't work. He shouldn't be playing up front. Schlupp shouldn't be playing in midfield. And for me, you have to start there as well.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue the Schlupp point. My point is going to be, unless we get somebody better, he's not going to play anybody better. He done that Hughes is better than him. So what's the point in starting Hughes when he's not better than Schlupp? I agree, Schlupp is terrible, but the point is that Hughes is not that much better. Otherwise, he'd play. Vieira's not an idiot. If he thought he's better, he'd play him. He would play him.
Okay, so are you telling me? Okay, let me ask this question: are you telling me Jordan Ayew is a better option than Edouard, and leaving Wilf up front? For me, it makes more sense to put Edouard up front and Wilf in that number 10 role where he has that freedom rather than Wilf as the final player. It doesn't make any sense. Why was Ayew playing as a number 10 in the first half and Eze out wide? We spoke about in the match preview, Patrick. You said that Eze shouldn't play out wide. And there's a reason for that. And you makes that selection.
I said just now, I said the formation that we started with was terrible. I said that.
And that's what I'm saying. It goes down to the manager. Some of the stuff that we're doing is just the same mistakes over and over again, and we're expecting different results.
My point is, you're talking about players when they come on, they don't do anything. So what's the difference? Is my point. We lack quality, but you're saying Edouard and Hughes, they come on and do nothing. What did Edouard Hughes do when he came on today?
Edouard, in his last game that started, he scored a goal.
No, today. What did he do?
Come on,
what
today
did he do
he
today?
came on after 70. He came on the 17th minute. What do you expect?
That's not enough time.
On the 17th minute. Oh man, Patrick,
that's not enough time.
He literally scored a goal. He literally scored a goal in the last game, and he dropped him. So he starts Jordan Ayew. Jordan Ayew has to find a spot. That's the reality. That's the reality. And if you're happy with that, you're happy. I'm not.
I didn't say I was happy. My point is, our issue is not starting Edouard up front because he started the last game. We lost the last game that he started, didn't we? Didn't we lose to Southampton last game when he scored?
No, but he scored a goal.
That's issue.
He scored a goal.
Other things.
He scored a goal. That's my point. But look, AJ.
Our issues are much bigger than Edouard starting up front. That's not our biggest issue. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not our biggest issue.
Our first issue is the manager sorting out the players. That's our first issue. Let's start there.
But the truth is our squad isn't good enough. That's our biggest issue.
Yeah, our squad isn't good enough. But another truth is he's stubborn. He's stubborn with some of these players. That's another truth. And he's played them all season long, even though they've had stinkers. When players come in for them for one game and have a good game, what does he do? Drop them again and play the players that have been having stinkers all season long. Now, for me, if you're Will Hughes, do you really want to stay at Palace? What's the reason for staying at Palace? Because if you're not playing now, you're never going to play.
Where's he going? Where's he going?
I don't know, but somewhere
else.
Premier
League side? Another Premier League side going to take him?
Well, I didn't say that. I just said he's staying at Palace. But anyways, let's bring on AJ for him to have his say. AJ,
whoa. Calm down, guys. Calm down. If you lot were in the same studio, bro, someone would have dead by now, man. I tell you. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think both of you got fair points on different kind of aspects, to be fair. So I think, first of all, performance-wise, we looked a little bit better than what we've produced in the past couple of weeks. That has to be said. Against a Chelsea side that has spent 400 million in the past 2 years, I wasn't really expecting much today. I think there is definitely some defense in the concept of the squad selection. It is getting a bit tiresome now, to be fair. And I think Vieira realised it weren't working a little bit too late in the game, to be honest, because, yeah, there are the same names that we're calling out, but it's the same names that we're calling out for a reason. Like, these guys just aren't of the standard. But I think the overall perspective of the squad is we're stale. We just look stale. Like, we look like that's why we need the new players in the team, and we need some fresh blood in there or some fresh faces in the team to get the ball rolling. I mean, there's no point talking about what's going on in the boardroom or transfers, because until they're standing there wearing a shirt, you can't really do much, to be fair. So, you know, the problem is everyone's screaming and shouting at each other and going mental at each other. Left, right, and centre is just not going to be very productive on any aspect of things. But yeah, there was definitely a few headaches today. Seeing Tompkins come on gave me a pre-headache before he even got on the pitch, to be honest, because I don't think he is of the standard, and that kind of goes back round to that full circle of the players are stale. There's nothing exciting coming off on the bench. There's no massive game changers in our team right now. But that being said, I think we need to be a bit more serious about starting an out-and-out striker game on game, to be fair, because I think we do look like a bit more of a threat, whether it be Mateta or Edouard on the pitch, rather than Ayew, to be fair. I don't understand why the manager doesn't see it, but at the end of the day, I'm not paid to make those decisions. Yeah, very frustrating game today. Decore, tremendous. I think we have to prepare ourselves for the next couple of weeks of just having this consistent frustration, boys. I don't see it getting any better unless we get that. There's nothing to really get excited about right now, man. It's just a very frustrating time, and I don't think the fixtures are really helping. Yeah, man, we're just all over the place. And my last point, Wilfried Zaha is not a striker. And I understand he does get goals and he is the top goal scorer in the team, but he does that from his attacking position, which is not the centre forward. It is the left attacking midfielder. That's my opinion on that. People can disagree with that, whatever. I know what I see. But yeah, man, that's all I got to say on the matter, man.
Yeah. Look,
it's just a frustrating weekend.
Exactly, frustrating weekend, and we've got another tough game coming up against a side that's on form. But in terms of some of the players that did come into the starting lineup today, Tyrick Mitchell, who's been away for a while, he was struggling for form previously. What do you make of his performance today after that 3-game suspension?
To be fair, I think he did all right. Had a couple moments where he got kind of put under pressure. I think he handled it well. I think he came forward very well. He created a few opportunities in the box, but then that goes back to the argument of having a proper striker in the box that can put those chances away. Considering he's been out for 3 games, and he was actually one of the positives of the performance that we got in the squad today. We just let ourselves down with such a dumb set piece as per usual that I don't know, man.
What do you make of the short corner routines? Because they've done that a few times, and in all occasions, it seemed like we didn't have the 2 players to pick them out. I was just confused watching it. I was like, honestly, every time it was the same thing, even in the first half, and then the second half, of course, we got punished by it. They just done a short corner routine, but every time we was getting outnumbered, there was only one of our players there. For me, it just
the only thing I
don't get it.
The thing I put in defense in terms of where we were coming from with that is essentially every time it came in the box, we were able to just head it out pretty quickly and get rid of it pretty quickly. And yeah, I guess there is an argument to say that if you are sort of chasing the short corner element, the thing is you then take a man out of the box from a defensive or a counter-attacking position. So that's where you have to kind of make the decision. And I felt we actually handled that pressure pretty well. Between the defenders, the centre back, should I say, headering out the box, and Decore sort of cleaning up what he had to do, and then Gaeta coming in and doing really good saves today. He definitely saved us from a humiliating or a much more higher goal difference wrap up there.
Yeah.
Set pieces, man. It feels like we've been suffering from set pieces from the Hodgson days, to be honest. So I don't know if we need a set piece coach. I don't know if we need to get somebody in the door that can work on that, because that seems to be a culture thing with the club rather than a management or a player perspective thing. I think we definitely need to get something going on with the coaching side of things, because this seems to be a habit that's kind of progressed. And considering the turnover of players we've had in that time, how are we still suffering from those really stupid set pieces? I don't understand. How many we've had so much change in personnel and so many players in our team that are so much better in the air. Why are we still suffering from those problems? Why are we still having those issues? So there's got to be a question asked there as well, man. Yeah, set piece thing just seems to be a bit of a weird omen that we've got going on with us with the team, and it seems to have been that case for a couple of years now.
Yeah, but in terms of our next few games coming up, we got Man United, of course, on Wednesday. That game was postponed, and now it's been rescheduled for this Wednesday. We got Newcastle also coming up. Where do you see our next point? Not even win coming from. Do you have any confidence based on today's performance? I mean, if you take away the set piece, we didn't defend that badly. Even saying that, Chelsea has some decent opportunities at times, and if Havertz got his head,
do you know what's mad? I think hand on heart, I felt like we looked better today. We definitely look better today. Or easier on the eye today. It wasn't an ugly performance. It wasn't, sitting there, throwing my toys at the pram. There was a couple of times I nearly jumped out my seat. So there's definitely opportunities being created. I think we just need to get it right in terms of the starting lineup. But I don't know what kind of where Vieira's agenda is going in terms of that team selection. That's where my headache is. But the problem is we're not going out and buying players to replace or deal with that. So we might have to just ride that wave for a little bit. I do feel like it's a long-term squad building project. But then I feel like at the same time, we're going to run the risk of getting caught going stale in between that, or a lack of motivation in the squad, because the problem is if the players feel like they've got nothing to play for, and if we end up having a bit of a funny summer, which we look like we potentially could about to walk into, because we got 8, 9 players that are contracts in the summer as well, including Wilf, may I add. I think there's a lucky point or two in there somewhere. I can't see us beating Newcastle, but at the same time, I can't see us beating Man United from there on. So it might even be February. If we can maybe improve the play and possibly get 1 or 2 names through the door, it will uplift the squad, it will uplift the fans, it will give us something to get behind. Because right now the problem is everyone's so frustrated and there's nothing to kind of look forward to or get behind. So there's going to continuously be this frustration for the foreseeable. Because there's no way, hand on heart, we can go through the way things are going right now all the way into mid-February, mid-March, because it may potentially be too late now. Then, I mean, look how much you two are on each other's necks. We've only had about 3 losses since October. Granted, the World Cup break in between that as well. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a frustrating one, because you're right. On another day of the week, we could have potentially got a point out of that. We could have snuck 3 points out of that game. I'm not disheartened at the point of getting being Vieira out. And part of me is just fed up and moaning about the starting lineup. At the end of the day, the man picks Jordan Ayew for a reason. Jordan Ayew works hard and he's very good at keeping possession of the ball. I'm not convinced. Actually, this is another point I was going to back in terms of what Patrick was saying is I'm not convinced Will Hughes is the super improvement in terms of what Jeffrey Schlupp does. The only differential between the two that I would pick up on is I feel like Jeffrey Schlupp has his complacency moments a little too often in games, and he's got a mistake in him. Whereas with Will Hughes, I haven't seen him do that yet. But then, has he had enough games to see that yet? I just think we just need a little bit of something to just build a bit of momentum on. I think today's performance was good. It just depends how the management and the coaching staff get into the players, and can they build on that better performance than what we saw today. We'll have to see, man. But we've got what? We're going to only have 1, potentially 2 days of rest and then training. And then the very on-full Man United side coming down to Selhurst on Wednesday. And we know what kind of atmosphere that could potentially turn into. And I'm going to be one of the same. I don't want to be coming all the way in the winter with it pissing down with rain and having to sit there and watch us get trashed. But that being said, if we can see some sort of progressive performances, or maybe just a little bit of a squad shake-up, then that will potentially be enough for us to kind of get us up a little bit, because we know it's like Dee, and obviously Patrick would know back when he was going, that if you are putting in the effort and you are putting in the work, the fans will always support you, the fans will always back you. It's when you're not doing it, and it's when you can't be bothered and you're looking frustrated. If we can see something out of the squad, I think that the fans can get behind the team and we can push them on and sneak a couple points here and there. But we're getting so frustrated to the point where we're creating our own toxicity among ourselves as a fan base. And it's not, from an outside perspective and looking at it on paper and what we've got and what we are, it's not that bad. It actually isn't. But then, obviously, if you keep consistently developing losses and poor performances and debatable squad selections, you're going to create a frustration. But then obviously there's another conversation there to be said, well, maybe the board needs to back the manager, because on the conversation of Vieira, even if he left tomorrow, who are you bringing in?
Yeah,
what kind of players are they going to bring in? What's going to happen with the youth project we got going on? You see what I'm saying? You got to be careful.
There's talks about that. People want Sean Dash back in, but for me, I just think you're missing a bigger point if you want Vieira out and Sean Dash back in. So why have Dash in? Because he does well with average players. Now, our bigger problem, if we want to progress as a football club, we just need better investment so we don't have these average players. Look, I don't think it's a simple case of get Vieira out, Dash in. And even today, I was frustrated at Vieira for some selections. He needs to learn from it. But the bigger thing is we just need the proper players in, because even though I would like Will Hughes to start, it's a very good point. Will Hughes isn't the answer, and I've said this before, but I still feel like he's a better solution to our problem in midfield than Jeffrey Schlupp is. Also, Wilf starting up front. I don't think he should be starting up front, but these are stuff that we can sort if we have the investment, which right now we're 15th of January and we're talking it's halfway through the month. Right, honestly, I don't see who's coming in. I don't see who's
it's quite good. It's quite interesting you say that, D. It's quite interesting you say that, D, because that is another area where the frustration comes from. And this is what I'm thinking, right? Owners ain't saying nothing. We know we need plays, right? But from a board perspective, none of them are saying anything. Not one of them. Nobody's come out and even interacting and saying we're not getting anything. That generates frustration. So you have to channel your frustration in a certain direction. Can you channel it at the players? It's easier to pick on one, or do you channel it at the manager? It's easier to pick on one man than pick on a squad of 32 or 22, or sorry, 11 players plus subs and the squad. The frustration is naturally going to fall on Vieira's shoulders out of something that he cannot control. Because when you look at it and you deep it, who are you actually angry at or who are you frustrated at? The man can only do so much of what he's got. When we gave him the first summer and we were able to bring in the players that he needed, he was able to implement a style, he was able to implement a mentality, and we looked so promising in that first season, or last season, should I say. You have to give him momentum to build, and you have to give him the squad and the players to build. And that's not, at the same time, that doesn't mean particularly spending 50 to 100 million every single window, but you got to kind of give a bit of statement and intent there. It's very obvious last summer we spent most of it chasing Conor Gallagher, and I was reading today that apparently the money was there anyway. So where's that 40 to 50 million? Where is it now? Why are we not looking at other areas? What is Dougie Freedman doing? That's another guy that's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. Because I was the one that was putting up Dougie Freedman memes in the summer when we secured and bagged Decore. So we got to share that energy as well. Yeah. I just don't know where to point my frustration anymore. That's where I'm at. I just don't know where to push my frustration towards because owners aren't responding. I'm not completely convinced it's the manager's fault. And from what I saw today, barring maybe one or two, I can't really pick out a certain player that played terribly.
Yeah.
Or didn't put in a shit.
Yeah, it is frustrating. And for me, I agree with the comments that are saying Dash is a step backwards. I just think we're missing a bigger picture. If we want Vieira out and Dash in, look, it's bigger than that. And it is frustrating. Vieira needs to learn, but bigger thing than all, we need to spend money and we need to bring in quality players. There's talks about Gallagher. We're interested in him again, but I don't know how true that is after
today's performance
today. Exactly, and the players' frustration towards them. But yeah, Gallagher played well, but I don't know.
So hang on, out of interest, where are we in the table now? So what are we, 11, 12?
No, it's still 12. We still probably will remain 12 if we lose against Man United.
I think the only thing I can say in terms of where we are as a squad and how we are as building a club is the only downside to us being in that scenario is we probably will end up losing Wilf. A lot of people have been talking about Wilf walking out the door anyway. So after that, are we really a top 8 club? Are we really a top 6 club? It would be lovely to get into Europe. I'd love to have Fridays off because I'm drunk from a Thursday night at Sellers, but progression takes time, man. You can't Rome wasn't built in a day. When I go to work, I don't go in there and smash every single target. My manager asks me instantly. I need time. You know what I mean? We have the reviews, and you have to let that grow, man. I just think,
yeah,
because we are so frustrated and we are so wound up, there's not really anywhere else we can turn apart from in each other.
Yeah, I just feel like we need to spend. But look, AJ, appreciate you coming on. And hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon.
Bro, you lot will see me on Wednesday, man. Take it easy.
All right, cool. Take care. That was AJ. Patrick, should we do you have anything to add, or should we bring on that other Patrick that's been waiting? Let's bring on the second Patrick, dominated by Patricks. How's it going, Patrick? You all right?
Pretty good. Yeah, actually, a lot of times, and I got to apologize to people on here. I come in here and I think I'm pretty direct in my actions and saying I might bring a little bit too much toxicity. I'm gonna be positive today because I saw the team give up effort that they haven't they've given effort that they haven't given in about a month, probably. I mean, to me, they played pretty good. They just lacked the talent up front most of the game to put the ball in the net. And what's the Chelsea goaltender, Arriva Valaga? The guy saved like 5 saves on his head. I mean, we easily could have got a couple in the net and won the game. It just the difference in the game, I think, was their goaltender. I mean, that's as simple as that. If they give that effort going forward, doesn't matter who plays, they're going to get a couple of wins in this tough schedule. I just think, I mean, I'm kind of with Patrick. You keep going on the negative thing. It's not good and healthy as a fan base. So I'm gonna try something different. Now, the one thing I will say, Schultz, I mean, obviously he shouldn't be playing. Is Will Hughes that much better? Not via the actions of today, but early in the season, IU during the game would slip down to partner with Decore. If Vieira doesn't want to play Hughes, certainly if you're paying 2 defensive mids, IU's better at that than Schultz. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I like IU on the pitch because he always gives effort. Not every player does. So if he's playing with Decore, I mean, to me, that's a lot better than Schultz. And I mean, that's the best we got. Right? I mean, to me. I mean, you're not going to play Luka. You're not going to play Hughes. So to me, playing IU next to Decore, that's a lot of energy, and both will foul them if they get past. I mean, to me, that helps. And that he did a little bit of that today when IU was dropping it in the midfield. What do you think?
Yeah, look, it's. I mean,
it's not the answer.
Dropping in, it's not the answer. I don't know. I still feel like IU in the long run, IU shouldn't be starting week in, week out.
Oh well, we know that,
but like when you look at hard work, I understand that it's not just hard work. IU is a smart player at times as well, and we saw it against Bournemouth out of possession, like he helped massively. Right. There comes a certain point where you just have to move on from these plays. Like we understand, for example, my frustration today was I understand that Will Hughes isn't an answer, but I feel like he's a better alternative in midfield than Jeffrey Schlupp. I feel like he has something to his game that's the basic step. And with Jordan Ayew, it's just he can't start this many games for me. I feel like there's certain games, yes, he can start, but not this many. He starts. Basically, what happens is with Ayew starting, we get rid of one of the strikers. Well, that's what it is.
I think if you're playing them,
it's worth it.
But if you're playing them up front, that's why. But if you move him back to the midfield where he's played, then he's not taking the place of a striker. And I think that's my point. It's like he's not going to play Hughes. Luka's not good enough. Schultz, to me, is probably at this point a wing back, a left winger at best, because when he's with the ball up front, closer, he's a lot better player. But I mean, to me, and then I mean, of course, I think they should start a striker. I mean, they should start Edward. I think Edward's a good player. I think even today, as he got into it, he created a couple opportunities. But with the starting lineup itself, I just think if you move IU to the midfield because you don't want to play Hughes, none of these guys are the answer, but they're not bringing anybody in. So you got to look at what you got on your roster and play the best players available at the position. Well, I think IU's just a better midfielder than both Hughes and Schultz. I mean, and he's not a midfielder, but at least he does the work every game to deserve to be on the pitch. And if he's not closer to the net to miss the shot, I think he could. For the rest of the way, I think he could play well with Decore. Let's put it that way. And I mean that, to me, to get all frustrated about it, that's why I apologize, because after listening to Patrick, I just think, all right, there's no point. Let's just get behind the club. Let's just. I would like to see Vieira manage a little better. I think, like for instance, I got another question, and then I'll hop off. Why was Eze subbed?
Look, Eze hasn't really been having great performances, but I don't know why he was. Well, to be fair, he didn't play that great today. And what about you, Patrick? What do you think about Eze's performance today?
He was anonymous today. I had no problem him getting subbed out.
Okay.
My only issue with him was why did he start him out wide? I thought he's better when he came in as a 10.
Right.
You're right. The last couple of matches he's been pretty, invisible. So him getting subbed out wasn't an issue for me today. But just go back to what Patrick's saying. Again, I'm going to make the point. I don't care. People in the chat, like Aaron or whatever, want to make comments. My point, we're going over the same things every week. We have to understand that he's going to play Schlupp. You guys can come on here, and I get it's an opinion show, so You can expect your opinion. We come in here every week and say the same exact thing. Why is he playing Schlupp? Why is he playing Ayew? And he continues to do so. I get you guys disagree, but there's a reason why he's doing it. We can disagree, but to me, I'm getting so bored of the same conversation because, and Patrick made a great point. We didn't talk about bringing, I remember before the break, talking about using Ayew as an 8. Remember that whole conversation we had, D, about Ayew as an 8? That lasted like half of a game. My point is, I'm just tired of talking about the same old stuff. I also come on the show because I'm not going to talk about the same stuff. It's boring. He's going to start Schlupp and Ayew.
But do you think that's the problem, though?
I don't know.
Problem.
Again,
that's why it's boring because it's the same thing over and over again.
But Patrick's point was good. Well, maybe that wasn't our problem today. We actually played well today. We showed a lot of effort. The problem happens to be that we're playing really good sides right now. You can talk about how bad Chelsea's been, how bad Spurs were, but they're actually much better teams than we are. May not be when we played them at that point, but they're better than we are. They have deeper squads. Do you know that Chelsea are missing 11 players that are injured and still could put out players like Havertz and Ziyech and Mount and Gallagher? Gallagher hadn't started in ages. Started today. I hate Gallagher right now. But he was brilliant today. You know what I mean? So my point is to get upset or talk about the same thing. It's boring. That's all I'm point. I'm just bored of saying the same thing. I get we had to have a conversation.
And that's why I'm frustrated.
But it's boring.
That's why I'm frustrated because it is boring, and that's why I would like to see changes. It's boring seeing the same thing week in week out in terms of some of these players and having the same results. That's what I find boring.
I get that.
Change it up.
I get that. No, the only thing we have to change, we have to get better players in. The players we have on the bench in the squad are not good enough to replace one with he's starting. Okay, maybe Edward over Ayew and Zaha. That I agree with.
Edward,
I'm telling you right now, it's debatable. It
guys,
really is.
Edward should be starting every game.
Okay, fine. Yeah. And at some point,
let's be real.
Okay, again, I'm going to say that's not our biggest problem. It's not. But okay, Edward wants to start over Zaha. That's great. We have bigger problems. Our biggest problem happens to be the lack of squad depth to have players be pushed for their positions at right back, at center mid, at wide for where Ayew is playing. We need better players that can come in and can push players to improve. Because what happens is you have better players, they push the other players and make them better. That's why Chelsea's are always so good. Spurs are always so good. Arsenal's so good. You have squad depth. We have no depth. We have players. We have a Luka. We have a Tompkins. They're not good enough. But we say every week, but unless we spend money, which we all know, by the way, we're not going to do this transfer window. We just have to move on. We can be frustrated, I get it, but we have to move on because the conversations are getting boring for me. They're getting boring.
Well, Patrick, you're right. It is boring to talk about the same center mid, striker, right back, left back, ownership. But unfortunately, that is the topic of conversation because it starts with the top. They're not doing anything. I don't even know which owner cares outside of Parrish. That's a whole different show. And then there's the same mistake. So when you're not winning masks a lot of stuff. And when you look at the fixture list, they were talking about it on the NBC feed. We shouldn't have to wait to April for the schedule to get easier, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. And we're going to be calling up just talking about great individual effort. Like Decore played his butt off today.
Oh, he was brilliant today.
That guy was a 3-man midfield in one.
He was brilliant today. Really well.
Gahey to me covering up mistakes by everybody.
Mistake. I agree. Yeah. Mitchell was much better today than he was previous. Mitchell had a great game today.
Oh yeah,
he's been in the past. Guaita, after that disaster class he had against Southampton, could have given up 4 or 5 goals today. He was really good today, Guaita. What did you guys think of Elise's play? I think it was a mixed bag because the problem I'm having with him lately, he doesn't look like he wants to be as physical. There was a few times he could have run, contact with the guy, get the ball, and he just kind of like backed away. Am I blind? Am I missing that? Or
I thought he had a decent game. I don't think there was much wrong to Elise's
game. I think he can do more, but I mean, he's only 20. He's only 20 years old. He's still young. I mean, actually 20. 12. He just turned.
He's still very young. He's still learning. But I thought Elise was one of our better players today, especially going forward as well.
I'm a wrap up, but I think the biggest positive today is the effort. Now, of course, everybody's going to say, "Oh, well, they should give effort." Look, they gave the effort. If they give that effort going forward, we'll be fine. Might even pick off like Newcastle's not exactly lighting the world on fire right now. I mean, they won 1-0. I mean, they won off of They won late, 1-0. It wasn't a great performance. Those guys are playing above their heads. If you look at their starting lineup, I mean, they have a lot of guys that finished 10th last year. So I think that's one at home. We got it at home. If we match their effort, maybe we can get something out of that. I don't think we're touching Man United. I think Casemiro's going to look at our midfield and laugh.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. But look, thank you for coming on, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick, man. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
That's Patrick. Let's bring on Ahmed next. If you're waiting behind the scenes, we'll try to bring you on as quick as possible. But if you guys want to join and have your say, click on the pinned comment to join the show live via audio, video, or send in your live comments as well. We'll be reading them out. If you're enjoying the show, listen to On the Road. Let's get to at least 50 likes, only 4 more needed. Let's try to beat that as well. Let's bring on Ahmed, who's been waiting for a while. Ahmed, Chelsea 1, Palace 0. Another defeat for Palace, no goal scored. But look, there were positives that Patrick said as well from some individuals throughout the game. But for you, what did you make of the whole 9 minutes?
Hi guys, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So basically, what I thought of the game was the fact that it was really, really a good opportunity for us to go for it. But the fact that we went for Zaha down the middle was something that astonished me. And another thing which was really astonishing was the fact that Gallagher always had a point to prove, especially against Palace.
Yeah, he had a very good
so
game.
In terms of that, means he alone in the midfield was way better than all of our midfielders.
He wasn't bad than Decore, but
yeah, look, I think Gallagher had a very good game. But in terms of Palace, you talked about the positions potentially being a problem. The goal that we conceded coming from a corner routine, I mean, we have improved. We were much worse at the start of the season. I remember struggling with set pieces massively. We have improved there, but there were a bit of question marks whether Tompkins should be coming on, Richards should be coming on. What do you make of the substitutions throughout the game? We had 4 subs, 3 at the same time after we conceded a goal. Was you happy with them? Was you frustrated? Okay, I think we're having connection issues with Ahmed. That's fine. We'll try to bring him on in just a second. Can you hear me, Patrick?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So I think it's on Ahmed's side. I'm not too sure what's going on. Let us know, Ahmed, if you can reconnect. Maybe it starts working again. We'll bring you back on. But let's bring on Jared, who's also been waiting. Jared, Chelsea 1, Palace 0. Welcome to the show. What would you like to say?
What's going on, guys? Well, today I thought we played much better, to be honest with you. I didn't really have a problem with the starting lineup. Really, Schlupp is more mobile than Will Hughes, and I think that's a big factor for Vieira is the mobility. He can get back in position when he's focused. When I watch Will Hughes play, he's not progressive passing. I think him and Schlupp kind of tend to make the same type of passers backwards. So I think Schlupp is more, or should I say Hughes is, I think he sees more as a Decore replacement. They're kind of redundant when they play together, Decore and Hughes. To be honest, it's just going to be a matter of just holding on till the end of the season, really. I'm not mad at Vieira for some of the selections. I get why he doesn't play Edouard, because Edouard sometimes, I think, lacks physicality in holding up the ball when he plays up front as a striker. He seems to be more of a finesse guy, wants to take touches, have guys around him to combine. So I think, to be honest, maybe if he wants to play a lone striker, maybe Mateta would be the answer, because I think Mateta will throw his body around more, occupy defenders. Other than that, I don't have a problem. Really, it's just a matter of waiting until we get another midfielder, and also some of the older guys, some of the Hodgson guys who are more used to the 40 points and relaxing. Some of them need to be shifted at some point. Beyond that, not really much else to say.
Yeah, look, it's you made some very good points there. Of course, we have to get rid of these players, bring in some new players. But is it a case of, for you, is it this season's been written off, wait till the summer, or would you like to see some signings in January at least?
Of course, I'd like to see signings in January, but if the money's not there, the money's not there. It is what it is. I think we have just about enough to hang on this year. Of course, I'd like to see Richards instead of Tompkins, but that's something that the manager, if he feels like experience is more valuable than what Richards is providing for him in training, then that's his decision. I don't really understand the Vieira out thing. He doesn't have much to work with right now. Like, I agree with Patrick, the squad is not up to par to compete week in, week out, and give us like consistent performances. Until the midfield gets sorted, we won't have the stability to sustain pressure and create chances consistently. So it's just a waiting game right now.
Jared, a couple of good questions. Where are you calling from, if you don't mind me asking?
Calling from New York, Newburgh.
Oh,
New
same
York.
as me. You ever go to the Football Factory, watch Palace play or no?
What happened?
Sometime,
well, I haven't been down. Usually I'm kind of busy, and I live like probably an hour up from the city. So maybe if I have time on the weekend, maybe I can.
And real quick, how did you become a Palace fan?
Really, it was, to be honest, a lot of black players in 2013. So the two black wingers, and I was like,
Balassi, Zaha, got you.
Yeah, Balassi, Zaha, and I was Sacco. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah.
But Jared, I just want to say, man, wait. You make some really great points, man. I really appreciate you tuning in. You made some great points today. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jared, for coming on. Before you go, just looking into the next game against Man United, they're red on form. Would you like to see any changes potentially? Maybe into the squad.
Maybe Mateta up front, because I think Mateta may be able to occupy if they play Luke Shaw or Martinez in that left-sided center back role. He could have some
size,
some size to hold up the ball. Other than that, I can't see anything that's too like pressing that we need.
All right, look, Jared, thank you for coming on to the show. Really appreciate your call.
Great call, Jared. Appreciate you, mate. Take care, mate.
Thank you. That was Jared. If you guys want to join and have your say, click on the pinned comment. You can join via audio or video, and make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to not miss out on future content. Got Stan. Stan, what's going on? You all right?
Are we doing, lads? All right?
Yeah. I mean, just going through all the quarters, really. That's it. I mean, for Palace's sake, he hasn't been all right. Lost a few games now on the road, but you was quite frustrated in the chat. What would you like to say?
I just think that whilst it was a better performance, it's the same old shit week in, week out. Same old tactics, same old formation, same old players. And you know what? I'm sorry to say this. They were there for the taking today, Chelsea. Yeah, great. He made some great saves, etc., etc. But Elise was getting in behind. Who was that youngster that plays for them? He was getting in behind him. Hull, getting in behind Hull. Yeah. We had a couple of chances ourselves, and we lack cutting edge. And I just listen. It's not just this game, but why does he persist? Like those changes that he made, he should have made them at 0-0 to change us up a little bit, to give us something. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion, why did he wait until we went a goal down to make those changes? He had 15 minutes since the break to make those changes. He didn't make them. And I just think, listen, it's not just this game. There's been so many games this year where we just haven't shown up, and it's not good enough. I understand that the squad is imbalanced, that it lacks this and it lacks.
Wait. We didn't show up today, Stan, in your opinion? Seriously?
I was waiting.
Come on, man. You can't say that.
No. I didn't say we didn't show up.
You just said that, though. You said so many games you haven't shown up. It's not
not just about today's game. I'm just saying there's been multiple games this season where we haven't shown up. And that's why we are where we are. And you can even look at as far back as Brentford at home, where we just completely capitulated and gave up a win. You can look at Leicester, Everton, Newcastle in the cup when he took a second-rate team out there, only to go and get played off the park by Forest the next week. Fulham, Spurs, Saints in the cup. I mean, the list goes on, mate.
Yeah. So for you said about some of the stuff that happens over and over again. What changes would you have liked to see today that you was annoyed about in particular? You mentioned some of the subs that's coming on. What would you like to see? All 4 subs or 3 subs?
I would have liked to have seen Eddie start, because when he starts, he tends to score goals. And I would have liked to have seen Will Hughes actually start in the centre of midfield. Schlupp lost his man for the goal. like I said, I just think. I just don't.
Dan Havertz outjumped Decore. He didn't. Decore's the one. If you watch the game, they said that Decore didn't jump. If Decore jumps, Havertz doesn't get a free header. It wasn't Schlapp's fault.
Schlapp was Schlapp's man, wasn't he?
I'm just telling you, I watched the game and I heard the commentary. They said that Decore, I was watching it. I watched it like 3 times. Decore stands there and doesn't jump. As good a game he had, on that play, he fell asleep.
Listen, I'm just saying that I think we were better when Hughes came on as well. I honestly think Elise is just not getting enough service. He's either isolated out there or he's doing a lot of defensive work. You know, he's such an attacking talent. He's such an attacking threat. And we're not getting the best out of him. Decore, I don't know how your man didn't get sent off today, lads. I don't know how he didn't get sent off. Wow. And then PV just kept him on and kept him on and kept him on.
He had our 2 best chances to score a goal. That's why he had our 2 best chances to score goals. He scored almost scored in both halves.
Yeah, I know, but if we don't have him for if he misses the next game, that's no good to us.
I was thinking about that. So how many yellow cards has he got? Because I
think he's got
5 before and had 1. He's 6.
I think he's got.
Before, yeah.
He's already missed for the suspension already.
Yeah.
What game was that? Yeah, I forgot about
it. Resets.
Yeah.
But it resets already. It's resetting. Yeah.
Okay, so he's already had his 5 because
he's already had his 5. Yeah.
I've got to say, JP was terrible when he came on. I thought he was awful. He's just. I don't think he's up to the standard we need.
That's why we should have never signed him in that January window.
I'm even going to question.
People talking about 9 million. I was saying it then as well. I was like, cool, 9 million, but if we're talking about our budget and how tight we are, that 9 million could have been spent better elsewhere. We rushed it. We rushed it because he had a good run of form in the cup. That's it. He had a good 3 months, and then we thought he's worth our permanent signing. I never saw it. You can go watch it back. I always say this when I talk about JP. Go watch back the transfer deadline they showed that we done in January when we did buy him. I said I don't know if we were rushing it because he had a good few months, and then we decided to make it a permanent deal.
You know, you bring in Eddie, it brings in Wilf to the game in his attacking threat. Like, why does Vieira insist in playing him through the middle at times? Like, like Patrick, I know you refuse to criticize him, but like,
criticize who?
Vieira.
That's not true.
You've said it before. You're not going to criticize him, but
no, I didn't. I never said that. So I wasn't going to have him show he's going to be out. I never said you couldn't criticize anybody. I said I'm not going to say Vieira out. So don't misquote what I said. I said I criticize you. Criticize him more you want. I can too. I said I'm not going to say Vieira out like you've been trying to do in the chat. On here. I'm not doing that. I mean, he's not perfect. Every man makes a mistake. I'm not going to say Vieira out. I never said he can't criticize him. Criticize him more you want.
Are you Vieira out?
I never said that.
Am I Vieira out? Wow. Listen, I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but I'm wondering if the board don't want to back him because he buys players, he don't play them. Like, I know Tompkins didn't do much wrong, but why did he not bring on Richards today? Richards ball playing centre back. You play the game considerably differently with 2 ball playing centre backs. Why did he not bring on Richards today? Why is he consistently starting these players? And like I've said, people can agree with me or not. It's consistent poor performances and consistently doing the same shit over and over again.
Hey D, can I just go back to your Mateta point? And both you guys saying how he's not any good, and I'm not going to say he's great. After we signed him, right? After we signed him, he scored against Wolves, we won that match. Against Everton in the quarterfinal, we won that game. Against Arsenal home, we won that game. So you're going to still tell me that wasn't worth buying him.
When was the Arsenal? Hold on. When was the Arsenal game? So I can tell you.
It was the 3-0 game.
No, it was second half of the season after the January window.
Yeah, exactly. After we signed him, he still scored goals.
And
that's my point.
There was a reason. I'm not saying this here now. You can go watch it, and you.
No. I know, but you can make it that point.
But there's a reason why, because Patrick, for this reason, he had a good 3 months. But in that 3 months, you can still tell how a player is, whether he's going to suit the system in long term.
But D, those goals weren't important. D, were none of those goals important?
It was important. But for the
9 million,
he was never going to be that guy. He was never going to. Well, anyways, that's what I
forget long term. I didn't say he played well today. He wasn't good today. I'm just saying you're acting like he didn't do anything for that 9 million, and I'm telling you, without him, probably don't get to the semi-finals.
Yeah,
that's
he had a
fact.
He had a good 3 months.
So it wasn't worth it for that. You don't think?
So yeah, we paid 3 million each month basically for to see the best out of him.
Can I ask you a question? Remember when we signed Ayew?
He's nearly more expensive than João Felix.
Hold on a second. Remember when we signed Ayew and he scored those 9 goals? That wasn't important to keeping us up that year. It wasn't worth it.
You said that wasn't important. You said that wasn't important.
I'm asking you. I'm trying to make an example.
Jordan Ayew kept us in the Premier League.
And
Mateta kept us in the FA Cup. There's a massive difference between both of them.
Mateta got semi-final in the FA Cup. We don't get semi-final FA Cup without Mateta. We don't get to semi-final.
And even in the FA Cup, if we have that conversation, an FA Cup that we played against mediocre teams and he scored against them, that's great. But Mateta didn't do anything. It's not like Mateta scored against Man City and Chelsea. We played against mediocre teams. He's done his job.
Is Southampton a mediocre team?
Huh?
Southampton a mediocre team? Southampton a mediocre this year? Who scored against them last week? Who scored against them last week?
Edward, but I can list other Edward goals that he scored this season. I can list other Edward goals that he scored this season. Edward only scored one goal this season.
I'm just asking because you have one set of thing for one player and another set for another player.
But Patrick, there's a reason for this.
He's considerably better than JP.
There's a reason for
this. You're missing the point. It's about the goals that he scored when he scored them. I'm not saying Mateta better than Edouard. Again, stand up words in my mouth. And my point is that you guys want to put him down, but at that time, the signing was worth it. Is it paying off now? He's hardly paying.
I said at the time, I feel like we're rushing it. I said it at the time. You can say it's worth it, but I said it at the time. And
what's he worth now? He ain't worth 50p now, mate. Do you know what I mean? They paid 10 million for him.
I'm keeping it. I'm keeping the same energy that I had before. Sometimes I do change it, but I'm keeping the same energy. I said it before. There's receipts. There's receipts that you can go look at. That transfer deadline day, when we did buy him, I said I'm not too sure if we're rushing into it because I never, even when he was scoring goals, then I didn't know if he could be the guy leading the line for us in the long term. And this is the reason because he's not. So we.
But the point was,
we failed.
He did do what we asked him to do, which was score goals after we signed him, and that's a fact. And those goals helped us win games.
3 months, come on, man.
Those goals helped us. They weren't important goals though.
They were
cup goals weren't important.
9 million for free. That's not. He hasn't done the job that we expect him to do. I get like maybe a good season. Ayew had a season. Mateta had a good few months. He didn't even have a season. Comparing Ayew when Ayew scored him 9 goals to keep us up. Ayew had a good season in that year under Roy Hodgson. Mateta had only good 3 to 4 months. But the thing was, he was scoring them goals whilst we're going to the FA Cup semi-final and whilst we're progressing FA Cup. So, of course, people are going to love him more and emphasize, oh, he's doing great, whatever, because we're in FA Cup. But reality is, he scored them big goals for us in FA Cup against opponents that you should be scoring against. And now, the reason why he's not playing and doing nothing when he comes off the bench is because he's not good enough. He's not good enough.
The Brighton goal wasn't important to you when he scored it. The Brighton goal wasn't important.
He did. But that's what I'm saying. He's had
the Watford goal wasn't important to you.
I wouldn't have kept him. What I'm saying is I wouldn't buy him on a permanent deal.
You said I'm going back. You said it was just the FA Cup goals. He scored against Brighton and Watford in the league. They don't count, right?
2 goals. Yeah, for me, I never understood the hype.
I understand. No, it's not the hype. I'm just saying that it's okay to criticize him, but be fair and be balanced and say that he did produce for us at times. I'm not saying he's doing anything now because he's not. Like he has produced in the past. Is my only point.
I never thought
you was like to just put him down. It was not 50p, but whatever that means. But my point is that just try and be balanced. Is my point. Because every time you come in here criticizing the same place over there it's boring. There's
no point on me acting like I've never rated him. Why should I know. As I say, he's only had a good 3 months.
Problem is the same players don't turn up every single week. So what we're going to do, if in our opinion they don't turn up, we're going to criticize them. That's just how it is.
Is it? That's how it is for you, not for me. Because I try and be fair and balanced.
But the same players don't turn up nearly every single week.
Such as Edward, Ayew,
Jordan Ayew. Yeah. Tyrick Mitchell at the moment's not turning up, is he?
He played well today. Did you watch the game today?
He did okay, but he got roasted a fair few times. You know, he's not the Tyrick Mitchell of old, is he? Not the Tyrick Mitchell of last season.
He played fine today.
Yeah.
Well, this probably lost the game today.
But look, in honesty, I think a striker, that's another area, but there's not area right now. We've got bigger problems.
I think that Vieira needs to do more with the squad that he's got as well. I know that we need players, but he needs to do more with the players that we have. Okay, let's not just bring this. I understand the frustrations with the board. I'm frustrated myself, but he's got players. Jara didn't even make the bench today. Do you know what I mean?
Because it's not good enough.
Oh, come off it. Dia. He played in Europa League final for Ajax. He's played international football for Holland.
Okay, but Gyro's had about
course
5
he's good
managers,
enough.
4 managers at Palace. It's not good enough. He's had all types of managers. Why? It's not just Vieira. Why has no one played Gyro? Apart from Frank de Boer. There's a reason for that. And when Gyro has played, he hasn't played. I can't remember him playing.
He's been
particularly
fine.
bad, but
He's
it's
absolutely fine when he's played.
There's a reason for that. Like,
Yeah.
Gyro is a player that we need to move on from. He's not gonna make.
No.
He's not ready. He's not built for this club at this level. He's just not. We've had our
The mid-
managers. If he's not working under Vieira, he won't work under any other manager. He's
Hey,
had
D.
shares of manager.
Question: where should we be right now? You think in the league about what position you think we should be right now?
I don't know where we should be right now is where we should be, like 12. Yeah.
Okay, so where should we be, Stan? We want to get more out of the team. Where should we be? You think right now? About where?
I don't think we're in a bad position.
No. Where should we think we should be? So if we're in a bad position, where should we be right now? You think in the league? About where?
Sorry, between 8th and 12th, I would say.
Oh, so we're 12. So we're where we should be then. You
But-
say you should be better with the squad. How can you be better?
No. Let me
Where
finish.
we're supposed to be.
Let me finish. With the
Right.
games that are coming up.
No. We can't do it that way. No. We have to do what you say based on now. I'm not going to look into the future because we could very well go beat Man United on Wednesday. Probably won't, but we could. We've done it in the past.
How much
I just asked you where it should be now.
How much
And
you
we're
want to bet
12.
we won't have more than 12 touches in the opposition box?
No, the reason why we should be 12th right now is because of
the
squad
isn't
mistakes
good
happening
enough.
over and over again.
And the squad's not good enough.
The squad ain't good, but he keeps playing the
Not
same
deep
players
enough.
over and over again. So it doesn't help us. That's why we're in this position as well. Yeah, the squad ain't good enough. That's part of it. But another part of it is some of the decisions that he makes. Like he's the manager at the end of the day. He can hold a bit of blame.
I just don't understand why he picks the same team every single week. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I'm sorry, like, I don't understand.
And he changed it up from the Southampton game to this game, but it's not the same
It wasn't
team.
exactly. It wasn't the same team as it was.
It's not the same team.
It's the same team every single week.
He picks the two
Again,
players.
it wasn't the same team as the last 3 matches because one, Mitchell wasn't available. How would you're just talking nonsense now.
I'm not talking nonsense, Patrick.
He hasn't picked the same team. He might pick the same page you don't like Sharp and I. He's not picking the same team because he hasn't. He just told you he didn't. He just started Edward last game. He just started today. How's that the same team as the last game?
So Edward scores every game he starts. Why don't he play him?
Every game he starts. I'm pretty sure if he scored every game he started every game.
Recently,
sure.
every game he started, he's pretty much scored. Has he or has he not?
Stan, you don't have one fact about he scored in the last game. He didn't score before the last game. He didn't start. He did not score in the game before that he started. Trust me, he didn't. But yes, he scored against Southampton. I 100% agree with you. He did not score in every game he started before then. I can guarantee you he did not. Go and look it up. I can do it if you want to. He has not scored every start that he's had. But is he the best striker to start? I agree. Why he doesn't start, I do not know. But do not come on here and tell me that he scores every time he starts because he does not. He'd have about 10 goals. He has like 5.
So I can actually bring that up. So in terms of the starts, so he started against Southampton. This is different. Okay, where's their most recent games? Why is this not showing?
So he started against.
This is for the Premier League. So in the league, he started against Southampton. He scored. He started against Everton when we lost that 3-0 game.
He started against Chelsea. He scored.
Wait. Did he score against Everton?
No,
he
didn't
score
score
every
against
time he
Everton.
scored. Okay. Did he score against Wolves?
No, he got an assist against Wolves.
Leicester. We said score. Did he score against Wolves?
No, he didn't score.
Leicester?
He got an assist.
Leicester.
Nope, he didn't get anything out of that game. And then Leeds, he started. He scored. Before Leicester, Chelsea, he started. He scored against Chelsea as well. So far this season, he started 9 games, and in 9 games that he started, he's got 1, 2, 3 goals. Not particularly
That's every
bad.
game?
Not great.
No.
Not every game, but
I think that's very good. But he doesn't score every time he starts. Was my point. But should he start? Yes. Does he score when he starts most of the time?
Right,
I'll
Patrick,
say 1 in 3.
let it go.
He doesn't score every game.
Let it go.
Let what go?
Yeah.
Well, let what go?
Let it go, mate. Let
what go?
Get off your high horse, man. Let it go.
What high horse?
Yours. Let it go, man.
Yeah, man. You're always so negative. That's why you're always negative. You know, you want to be negative. Be negative. I'm just making a point. You make a point. Make a point, Stan.
Patrick, I'm not negative, but I'm not going to come on here and be fucking talked around by you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, you know, if I want to be negative, I can be negative. The team's playing shit, so I'm going to be negative.
They played shit today, really. That team played shit today. You can be upset they lost. We all are. They didn't play shit today. So you're wrong again. They didn't play shit today.
You know what? You're always right. Start your own channel then, man. Start your own channel.
Okay. Well, I won't come with you anymore. No problem. All right.
All right. Let's just wrap this up. Of course, tensions are high after that defeat. But look, I think everyone wants Edouard to start. Everyone does want.
I agree. He should start. He should start. I agree.
Yeah, and hopefully,
100% he should start.
Hopefully, he does start in the next game, anyways. But you guys are just fine. Patrick, any other last thing you want to say about this game?
No.
I think we covered literally
Tough
everyone,
loss.
every single player,
Yep.
even as a tough loss. But we're back. We're back for the Man United game, and you know we're at home. I don't think there's no expectation going into that game, is there? So take it game at a time. It's tough games coming up. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in that game. But look, if you guys have enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. That's it from me, Patrick. Thank you to everyone who's joined us live. And also was watching on replay. If you have enjoyed it, as I said, let us know your comments in the comment section down below. Of course, everyone has different opinions. But yeah, let's see what happens in the next game. But yeah, until next time, up to Palace.